Can you hold this phone?
Today being the 17th day of the month of November. Big things don't begin play out. It don't begin unravel and it don't begin take shape in Nnamdi Kanu's case as we speak. So the question here is, what's the latest update regarding every single thing we go play on this week? Well, as we speak, U.S. observers, which we believe came from the desk of the U.S. president or the U.S. government.
Hello, good evening, viewers. If you are new to the channel, kindly like, share, subscribe, and please do not forget to hit the notification bell. You are welcome back to my channel. This is actually Michael. We are seeing yet another development. The man, Nnamdi, the man of the moment, drawing attention to a global icon. Talking about Ronaldo, who has come up to lend his voice to Biafra. And as we have it, tomorrow we are seeing the court giving judgment. Exactly. What does it mean for Ronaldo to step in at this point? We are seeing judgment.
We have 17 or more lawmakers, Nigerian lawmakers, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu asking him to invoke a certain section of the Constitution and actually do the needful by releasing the innocent Nnamdi Kanu in that regard. You know, and because of the situation of the nation currently now, you can see that Nnamdi Kanu's unfortunate illegal trial has attracted, the global community, the global attention to an extent now, and some of these matters are being discussed in United Nations. Where we saw, after a brief United Nations General Assembly meeting, there was this private discussion between the U.S. government, Ronaldo, and of course, Nicki Minaj privately, where a certain positions was taken on the clips that was put on the table by Cristiano Ronaldo himself. But this is surprising to the whole world, how this thing has gotten to a point that it begins to attract even those who were not expecting, who were not expected to be part of the struggle. Let me put it that way. So Nnamdi Kanu has attracted this set of people around the world now, and the matter is being currently discussed. I don't know the situation of Omotosho, presiding judge on Nnamdi Kanu's case now, given the widespread campaign and advocacy over Nnamdi Kanu's continuous decision or continuous detention based on revelations of what is happening in Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu is not being detained because of anything. Nnamdi Kanu is detained because of his revelation and resistance. Resistance, mark the word, resistance. Exactly. Thank you. To an extent, there was no voice again to be heard. Nobody was talking about anything. Everybody was just calm, and shut down completely. Nobody. So in 2015, he started alerting the world of the consequences of what led to the meeting of United Nations a few days ago that attracted global icons like Nicki Minaj, Cristiano Ronaldo, and of course, the American president having a closed-door meeting where Nigeria issue was discussed. But I don't want to go there, because presently what is going to happen to the 20th is already in place. I can tell you that the Israeli government has sent their own delegates.
Permit me to jump in. I was going there because we have seen videos, pictures making around the internet, depicting, of course, delegation from all over the world, lawyers, press, crew coming to witness what they describe as the World Day, talking about the judgment of federal government trying the man Nnamdi Kanu.
But another revelation was a recent statement credited to the Nigerian president, where Bola Ahmed Tinubu was actually, hitting over the injustice in judicial system in Nigeria. I don't know what he actually meant by, trying to target and make that kind of statement on the judicial system in Nigeria, talking about justice, fair play, and all that, and that, the judiciary should not be compromised irrespective of whatever is on ground. It is coming from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's surprising to the extent that Nnamdi Kanu actually reacted. At that point, now, is he trying to tell us that, he has no hand in the decision of Nnamdi Kanu? Remember, a few years ago, the same president, current president of Nigeria, told the whole world that IPOB should not be blamed for the consequence for anything that's happening in Nigeria. The same president, when he became president, he made a national broadcast where he also tagged the same IPOB as a terrorist organization. So, you see, Nigeria is a controversial nation. Nigeria is not properly structured in terms of leadership to where every organ of the government will be seen to be very independent. And that is where we are today. So, the Nnamdi Kanu's trial has brought a negative and damning image about Nigeria currently. Now, and you can see the thing is spreading over the world. Look at the Hungarian president, reacting to Nnamdi Kanu's issue, and of course the issue of genocide in Nigeria currently now for tomorrow, for today, or what is going to happen, and how James Omotosho is going to quote a doctrine of necessity from anywhere from the book of law outside the constitution to nail Nnamdi Kanu. So
now, continuing in that trajectory, because we understand that this judgment we are talking about is taking place as we speak. What are we expecting? Because the mood out there is clear. We saw Nnamdi Kanu the other day in appellate court trying to file an application to stop the judgment. Immediately they noticed his presence, the atmosphere changed. It speaks to one thing, that Nnamdi Kanu's popularity cannot be destroyed.
He has also won, for a reference point, he has also won the Nigeria Students Association Freedom Fighter Award. I think the first time in the history of Nigeria, the National Student Union awarding such, giving such award to such a man. I think that never happened.
I want to let the whole world understand something.
Witnessing that. So,
very
nobody tells you that Nnamdi Kanu has become
this is judgment of the Supreme Court.
Has become a reference point.
It made it very clear that even the impartiality
of what freedom fighting
is all about.
And you can see that the thing has begun to yield a lot of fruit.
And
unexpected. The Nigerian government did not see it coming. That it will get to a point where international community, powerful world leaders, countries, nations, are now seeing Nnamdi Kanu of Christian persecution
all these things
in Nigeria.
Are online.
And that the only reason why this thing can only stop
so
is to
suggest
make sure
that
that very majesty is being done in that
to do some basic research.
And
it's not difficult, just minor research. You will understand the virtuousness, the emptiness of what is against me. Because even in the course of
they kept
switching the charge to write to Trump.
They said I committed this crime in England
to save Nigerians,
particularly Christians
who are facing.
And in 9 charges leveled against me, the place where I committed this crime was London, in the United Kingdom. When my lawyers came to see me, I had a discussion with them about how I'm going to defend myself. I told them that no court in Nigeria has jurisdiction to try me because since this offense was committed in England. So they said it's only a UK court that can give a Nigerian court the authority to proceed, isn't it?
Built around
based on that, they now amended the charge again. I removed London, location of the broadcast,
and the popularity
contrary to section
196, and most of people are beginning to write, apart from those who are benefiting from it,
in violation of their own laws, in violation of their own laws, and you want me to stand trial under the circumstances that possible? Nnamdi Kanu to stand trial where these shenanigans are going on? It's not possible.
Sound and conscious African knows that Nnamdi Kanu is able and capable, to disintegrate these, consequences of not having good leadership in Africa, and it has to start from a modern nation called Biafra.
But this is boldness, unrelenting, as can be seen, his disposition in court. Does he talk about the Biafra spirit in him or himself as a person? Where does he get this, of course, embodiment?
No, I think it's born out of conviction of the reality on ground. It's born out of conviction of a man who has experienced marginalization. It's born out of a man who has seen victimization. It was a man who is who has been suppressed to an extent that he has become a victim of political consciousness. So Nnamdi Kanu has experience, and he has gotten to a point that no, the only option left for me is to engage in this struggle. And if I cannot be able to engage in this struggle, that means all of us are doomed. Just imagine in an absence of Nnamdi Kanu's revelation, maybe the entire Eastern Nigeria now would have been totally under the control of jihadists.
Okay, in the light of what is happening today, let us dive into his decision to defend himself in court. We understand that Nnamdi Kanu is an intellectual. Nobody can take that away from him. But his boldness is saying, I want to defend myself. And with every attempt to make him see reason why he should allow himself to be represented by a legal luminary, and even attempt of the judge to say, seek advice from an expert in criminal law. He continued consistently maintaining that the law upon which is being tried have been repealed.
That is not working now. The law is not working. It has been repealed. It's an old law. It's not a thing. It's not an extant law. Then I don't know where they are going to. And that's what I'm saying about talking of necessity. I don't know where Omotosho is going to extract or invoke whatever law or logic is going to use to sentence Nnamdi Kanu to 100 years imprisonment, in that regard. But you can see that the federal government on this matter have also shut down the case. There was issue of no case submission, and there was issue of being attacked by DSS on his case file were actually missing. And when he finally had access to that, he discovered that he actually have no case to answer. And on that regard, I base that there is no law. There is no law
But
that can be used to try him.
Let me take it to
and
this
if they can provide it at any particular time, any section of the Constitution or any law that allows him to undergo the process of trial, that he is ready currently now to open defense. You see, Nigerian judiciary can be compromised, based on the people. And remember, Omotosho has been very controversial. We have seen his controversial judgment on PDP that led to the PDP crisis. We have seen his controversial judgment on the governor of Rivers State, Simi Fubara. So everything about this Omotosho, we know where Omotosho is coming from. It was actually planted there by Wike, and of course, there's no two ways about it.
Okay, let me finally take it to this angle, because as we have it, there's a school of thoughts, perhaps speculation, that Nnamdi Kanu's disposition as the only voice in the wilderness, talking about the Fulani conquest, the reason the power that be in Nigeria will not want to let him go. Talk to us about that.
Yes, of course, that's the main bone of contention here, and that is the reason why the Buhari's administration and other forces, were able to, corrupt or compromise the Kenyan authority, and were able to carry out illegality, and simply because they don't want that voice to be heard. They don't want any form of resistance to the plan, the Ruga, and the rest of them, jihadist conquest and whatever and all that. So Nnamdi Kanu was an obstacle, to that very particular plan. But unfortunately, at the West do not align with this reality, and most of them on the process compromised. Like Femi Adesina was also part of the meeting, where it was hashed that they are going to lobby Kenyan police at the end of the day, and they were able to, get Nnamdi Kanu kidnapped from there back to Nigeria, and that was actually not what happened.
But maybe to drive it to this area, perhaps we'll end with this. Susan Vai appeared to be a silent achiever. This is a lady who, of course, at some point was a lobbyist for the man Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra struggle. Currently, is the chief of staff to the man Donald Trump. And as we have it, things are falling in pleasant places for the struggle. Could it be that this woman is working behind the scene? Talk to us about this.
I think there should be some level of jubilation, not only as his wills, but we can see the impact of the entire Middle Belt, Christian leaders. We have seen the support coming from African Christian organizations. We have seen Jewish Christian Americans. A lot of organizations are in this thing, trying to get the world attention to what is actually, happening, and that was what triggered, what is actually going on. So, Sus Wills was able to use that, to continue to present the situation of Nigeria to Donald Trump at the end of the day. That got Gunter Jang, the NATO chief, got involved. We are seeing, more, and more got involved. We have seen, Ted Cruz got involved. We have seen Michael, Waz got involved. We have seen Cristiano Ronaldo got involved. We have seen Nicki Minaj got involved. And these are the things United Nations have been avoiding for. Now the thing has been brought to the United Nations, and they are offering. And what they are saying is, at this point in time, that it's only the recognition of a Christian nation that can stop genocide in Nigeria. And that was what Nnamdi Kanu,
what angle is that pointing to?
Yes, what it actually means at this point,
restoration of Biafra.
Of course, because what if you look at it very clearly, what the position. I'm talking from the position of Cristiano Ronaldo currently now. I'm also talking from the position of Gunter Jang, the NATO chief, who is making that statement that genocide will not stop in Nigeria.
How about Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj presented a holistic, presentation on persecution of Christians in Nigeria. That's her position. But Cristiano Ronaldo and the rest of them, took a different angle to what is happening in Nigeria. Then, secondly, Gunter Jang, who happens to be the NATO chief, was saying it very clearly that the option is only when there is a Christian nation being restored in Nigeria. That is only when genocide will come in. And that is why when they say that all options, when they are talking about all options will be given to Donald Trump, according to United States Department of War, making it very clearly that they are going to present all options to Donald Trump. Those options include total disintegration and recognition and sovereignty of Biafra. And for the matter to have gone to United Nations tells you that such a plan might get to a point that where Biafra will become an option to stop genocide in Nigeria.
Lastly, talk to us about the private meeting between Donald Trump and Ronaldo.
Yes, it was quite very interesting, because the President of the United States of America himself came out and make it an official statement that he had a private meeting with Ronaldo and, of course, Nicki Minaj. And Nicki Minaj presented a holistic report on videos and clips of how Christians have been persecuted in Nigeria. But that Cristiano Ronaldo was particular about Eastern Nigeria.
In that encounter,
yeah, in that encounter, in that closed-door meeting, was particular about presenting video clips of killings in Eastern Nigeria, telling you that he aligned with what is already being presented in the global world by the IPOB, presented to the global world by the Middle Belt Christian leaders, presented to the global world by the American Jewish community, and the rest of them. So, and he's trying to put it to Donald Trump at this point in time that the only solution they can see to this is that Cristiano Ronaldo, is backing the Biafra movement, and that is why he takes it upon himself to present how Easterners and Biafrans are being killed by Nigerian and jihadist forces.
But should Trump eventually come into Nigeria by way of intervention to save Christian minorities with the current Biafra situation? Because this thing is happening at the same time we are talking about persecution of Christians in Nigeria, talking about the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Some people are saying this is an opportunity for, of course, Biafra proper restoration.
Of course, that is what is being expected, and that's the jubilation and celebration everywhere, because they are only capitalizing on unity of Nigeria to infiltrate regions, to infiltrate communities, to carry out their jihadist tendencies at the end of the day. So this unity is built on that. That's what they are looking at. They're looking at, after all, I'm a Fulani, I have right to be in Aba, I have right to be anywhere. And on that process of unity, they carry out their nefarious activities. So on that point now, if all options are going to be exploited you know, there's need to create a certain sovereignty where this thing can be properly checked. They don't see how they are going to leave their own territory, where the unity, where Nigeria become an X. When we start talking about ex-Nigeria, they will begin to know how they will be able to leave their own region to infiltrate another person's region. Then that will be another question they will have to answer themselves. And of course, they are going to miss consequences that is bigger than them in that regard. But when you talk about unity, you know, they can leverage on that you know, ideology after that Nigeria is one, and actually there is no oneness.
I must say a very big thank you at this point, and hope to have you next time, because this is a developing story. We'll definitely bring you back to discuss this. But for now, thank you for your time.